Contact. The Vethkai cruiser drifted at the edge of the debris field, its hull breathing with slow bioluminescent pulses. Commander Orith pressed 4 of its 6 fingers together in the gesture that meant patience, a word their language had 47 variations of. Below them, wrapped in the grey silence of the outer belt, floated the human vessel. It was ungainly by any measure the Vethkai used to judge ships. Blunt-nosed, scarred by micro-impact craters, its hull plating welded in overlapping sections like badly healed skin. The name stenciled along its flank, ISV Iron Mare, meant nothing to their translation cores yet. "Shall we hail them?" asked Sensor Second Ovalis, her photoreceptors widening with curiosity. Orith considered. The Vethkai had encountered 7 spacefaring civilizations. 5 had been catalogued, 2 had required pacification. Humans were newly confirmed. Third-tier technology, likely no weapons capable of threatening the cruiser's forward shielding. A scan first. Diplomacy after. Initiate a full-spectrum biological and tactical survey, Orith said. Deep resonance. Leave nothing unread. The scan. The resonance beam swept through the Iron Mare in 0.4 seconds. The data arrived in cascading layers on Ovalis's panel: hull composition, internal layout, power signatures, life signs. She processed it with the practiced calm of an officer who had catalogued stars for a living. Then the life sign data resolved into something coherent, and her calm evaporated. 112 humans aboard. Standard enough. What was not standard was what the biological overlay was showing her. The ship's medical bay contained 31 individuals currently in recovery, bones recently fractured and reset, muscle tissue repaired via crude chemical sutures, 1 individual with an entirely replaced knee joint fashioned from a repurposed coolant pipe. The scan cross-referenced their injury profiles against the mission clock embedded in the ship's log. These were not old wounds. This crew had, 11 days ago, boarded a pirate mining platform, fought hand-to-hand in a pressure corridor, secured 17 hostages, and then flown the damaged Iron Mare 40 million kilometers on a single functioning thruster to reach the relay beacon. "Commander," Ovalis said, her voice coming out smaller than she intended. "I'm reading something in the weapons manifest." The inventory. Orith crossed to her station. The weapons inventory scrolled past: 2 rail cannons, 1 non-functional, the barrel warped from overfire. For missile tubes, 3 of them empty. A point defense grid running at 30% capacity. By Vethkai standards, the Iron Mare was practically unarmed. But the scan had also mapped the crew as weapons. Each human registered as a biological unit capable of, the system paused to calculate. An average impact force of 4,200 newtons per strike. They possessed no natural armor, no venom, no regenerative biology. They were, structurally, absurdly fragile. A single well-placed puncture to 3 different locations would end any one of them. And yet the mission log showed a crew member, designation, Petty Officer Marcus Webb, age 31, had received 6 such punctures during the boarding action. The medical scan confirmed this. It also confirmed that Webb was currently in the ship's galley, standing up, eating a bowl of something hot. Ovalis pulled up the full combat record. Her photoreceptors dilated to their maximum aperture. "Commander. They lost 4 crew in the action." She paused. "And they went in anyway." What the data meant. Orith stood very still. The Vethkai had a concept for creatures that fought despite knowing they would be hurt. They called it Shulveth, roughly translated as, the madness of the cornered. It was considered a last resort, a biological override. Something that switched off under calmer conditions. The scan data suggested that for humans, it never switched off. They had not been cornered. They had chosen to board that platform. The 17 hostages were strangers. No genetic relation, no colonial bond, no debt recorded. The mission had been voluntary. The 4 dead had known the risks. The 31 injured had known the risks. They had gone in anyway. Because it was, apparently, the right thing to do. Orith reviewed the deep resonance one more time. The Iron Mare was a wreck held together by welding seams and stubbornness. Its crew was half broken and utterly unbothered by that fact. And somewhere on the command deck, almost certainly aware they were being scanned, a human captain was probably drinking something hot and waiting to see what happened next. "Cancel the hail," Orith said quietly. Ovilus turned. "Sir. Plot a course away from this system. Slowly. Non-aggressively." Orith turned back toward the viewport and watched the battered gray ship in silence. "And flagged the humans in the central registry. Category 7. Category 7 was reserved for civilizations the Vethkai considered strategically inadvisable to provoke. It had never, in 400 years of spaceflight, been assigned to a species that still used chemical propellant. Epilogue. On the bridge of the Iron Mare, Captain Nadia Okafor watched the alien vessel's drive signature shift, a long, careful arc away from their position. She set down her coffee. "They're leaving," said her navigator. "Yep." She picked up the coffee again. "Should we hail them?" Okafor considered the question for a moment, watching the bioluminescent hull fade into the black. "Nah," she said. "Let them go. We've got 31 crew still in medical, a rail cannon that's basically a paperweight, and Webb just ate the last of the soup." She turned back to her instruments. "We'll meet again eventually. They all come back." She was, in this, completely correct.